Let me explain why it's absolutely critical realtors understand personality types. First of all, no one presentation fits all. If you say, show, and do the same thing every time you meet with a buyer or seller, you probably have about a 1 in 4 chance of having that person want to deal with you. However, if you understand personality types, first of all, it'll eliminate misunderstandings. For example, you might think someone's being rude or aggressive or short with you, and you might even think they don't want to deal with you, when in fact, they may very well want to deal with you, and it's just their personality coming through. You can then learn to adapt your presentation to give the information in a manner in which they want to receive it. Hi, my name is Kevin Flaherty, and thanks for watching. If you don't know who I am, I'm a real estate broker with eXp Realty who quickly reached icon status for productivity. I have 3 decades of experience, and I currently run a team and a group within eXp where we share cutting-edge tools, strategies, and best practices to help agents, teams, and brokerages grow their business. And without further ado, let's get right into it. This is going to be a recorded session to my team right here in my own office. Hope you enjoy it.
Have you guys heard us referring to DICS personality? If we divide someone's personality down into 4 main categories, this would be it. Yeah. So you're going to hear a lot about this moving forward. So best to spend some time figuring out what it is right now. D is productive, competitive, aggressive, even headstrong. When you think of D, think of dominance. I'm not going to get a word in edgewise. He's going to guide the show. He's going to tell me what we're doing. Who do you know that's a D? Erica? Yeah. Erica's a D. Who else do you know that's a D?
Probably you.
Yeah, I'm a D. I, talkative, enthusiastic, spontaneous, persuasive. When you think of I, think of influential. Eyes can influence people. In fact, the best salespeople are high D and I salespeople because they have the dominance to take control of the situation, but they can talk enough to influence people. Salespeople are I's. I is sales. Z, systematic, detailed, organized, orderly. When you think of C, think of cautious. S, peaceful, loyal, good listener, dependable. We can think of S as meaning like safe. Yeah. So that's kind of an overview of personalities. Now, what happens is we can get mixtures of all of these and almost like percentages. What are they most like? What are they least like? What are they average? Right? And that way we can talk about someone so that you can understand. The ISAs have extensive training in this. Very detailed training. We can kind of break this down when we start looking at quadrants. Down in this quadrant, we're passive and reserved. Yet in this quadrant, we're active and outgoing. Over in this quadrant, we're task-oriented. And in this quadrant, we're people-oriented. Yeah? So people-oriented, task-oriented. Active and outgoing, passive and reserved. Make sense? All right. So that's kind of an overview of personalities. Now, what happens is we can get mixtures of all of these and almost like percentages. What are they most like? What are they least like? What are they average? Right? And that way we can talk about someone so that you can understand. The ISAs have extensive training in this. Very detailed training. And because if they send a sheep into the wolf's den to meet with a high D, what do you think would happen?
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work, right? It's just not going to work. They'll have to match up a D with a D. Otherwise, the cream puff will be squished. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can kind of break this down when we start looking at quadrants. Down in this quadrant, we're passive and reserved. Yet in this quadrant, we're active and outgoing. Over in this quadrant, we're task-oriented. And in this quadrant, we're people-oriented. Yeah, so people-oriented, task-oriented, active and outgoing, passive and reserved. Make sense? All right. So, a D. A person with a D style is motivated by winning, competition, and success. Right? We don't like to lose. We're going to do whatever it takes to win. If you put a D into a circumstance where he was outnumbered, outgunned, and he was going to lose, they'll either avoid the circumstance or alter the rules so that they win. I'll give you an example. One of my best friends was very high up in the company BASE, B-A-S-E. They do a lot of paints and things like that. Their mascot, because they do a lot of automobile paints and whole division, it's a massive company, but anyways, he's in kind of this quadrant of it. The mascot is Richard Petty, the race car driver. And he goes out and drives race cars with his mascot and all this stuff, and he goes to all the car shows, and he says, Kevin, you need to come to Vegas. The race car track. Teach you how to drive NASCAR. And he throws in there, and I am going to kick your ass. Right? How do I handle that? He's got experience. He's competitive too. The times are going to be, the lap times are going to be tracked. And I'm going to come out and lose. The funny thing is, we were together with a bunch of guy friends, and one of my other guy friends saw that he was all sensitive about how good he is at NASCAR, and he's got Richard Petty as a coach, one of the best guys in the world. And my friend looked at me and went to wind him up, and because he knows me, and he goes, yeah, Kevin's going to beat your ass. My money's on Kevin. And the shit was on. Why would you say that, right? And he kept pushing it because I know Kevin, he's going to kick your ass. He's good at this. He flies planes. He does boats. He's going to go in there. He's going to be a natural so much, and he kicks your ass. And my friend was exploding, and the money started going on to it. We started betting money that I would win going in cold. So fast forward, we're in Vegas at a conference. I had a conference there at the same time he had a conference. This was all set up. Other buddies monitoring communications. And when he was out there, we had to go training and special suits. And when he was out there doing his laps, I went to the booth that keeps the time and does awards and different things and bribed them that I would win. To the point, actually, I said, listen, this can't just be I beat his time, right? I gotta it's gotta be like embarrassing for him. It's gotta win. It was like they were like actors. Not all, I won t-shirts, I won an award, I went on to their Hall of Fame. I didn't know how much I was gonna get for such, probably that much. And they just all liked the idea, all right? And they were like, oh my God. And anyways, it was really funny. So it's a long story, but I changed the circumstances. I'm not going to lose, right? So Ds don't like to lose. They're motivated by winning, competition, and success. They prioritize accepting challenge, taking action, and achieving immediate results. They don't like the long road. They like the short road to success. It's described as direct, demanding, forceful, strong-willed, driven, and determined. Fast-paced. Fast-paced. This is going to be a big deal. When somebody shows up at your meeting and says, okay, can we just go see the house? You've got to understand where it's coming from. Okay, so we're going to tell you how to deal with this stuff. I don't have time. My kids are in the car. Listen, just got to go. Can we get? I thought we were coming to see the home, right? Like they're going to be hard, right? This is D stuff, and they're very self-confident. May be limited by lack of concern for others, impatience, and open skepticism. May fear being seen as vulnerable or taken advantage of. Value competency, action, concrete results, personal freedom, and challenges. Their goals, unique accomplishments, new opportunities, control of audience, independence. Will need to expend more energy to show patience, display sensitivity. Do I look like I could be sensitive?
I'm very guilty of that myself.
Yeah. You have different percentages, right?
Yeah.
Get into the details. I have a very hard time getting into minute details. It's a weakness. I actually know that, knowing that I'm a D, I know I have to expend more energy to get into details. Allow deliberation. I have a hard time doing that. When communicating with D-style individuals, give them the bottom line. Be brief. Focus your discussion narrowly. Avoid making generalizations. Refrain from repeating yourself. And focus on solutions rather than problems. That's the formula for dealing with a D. Yeah? All right, I. A person with style may be limited by being impulsive and disorganized and having a lack of follow-through. It's described as convincing, magnetic, enthusiastic, warm, trusting, and optimistic. Prioritizes taking action, collaboration, and expressing enthusiasm. Is motivated by social recognition, group activities, and relationships, because they like to talk. May fear loss of influence, disapproval, or being ignored. Values coaching and counseling. Freedom of expression and democratic relationships. The salesperson. Yeah. Goals, victory with flair. Friendships and happiness. authority and prestige, status symbols, popularity. They'll need to expend more energy, eyes, to follow through completely. If you have an eye and you're meeting with them for a buyer or listing presentation or whatever, and you're going to think things are going really well because they're talking, they're telling you about their dogs, their best friends, they're telling you about all this stuff in your life, and you're thinking, wow, this meeting's going to go great. I'm going to get this for sure. This guy, we're connected. They like it. They talk, and you can barely get a word in edgewise. And then this is what happens. And then they go, oh, shit, I've only got a couple minutes left because I've got to be at another meeting. Okay, can we do this again later? And right? They will waste all your time chatting when they don't have the time, which is partially why they have a hard time following through on things. But that's one of the biggest things about eyes is you've got a lot to go over, a lot of information they need to listen to. Getting them to listen to you can be a challenge. And they'll use up any time they've got talking about irrelevant things. So that's a challenge with the eye. Have a hard time researching all the facts. We've got to give them a lot of information and they don't want to receive all the information. Speak directly and candidly. They have a hard time doing this, staying focused for long periods of time. That's a challenging person to give information to. When communicating with the I-style individual, share your experience, allow the I-style person time to ask questions and talk themselves, but you got to limit it, right? You can't let them go on forever. Focus on the positives, avoid overloading them with details, and don't interrupt them. Yeah. S, a person with style, is motivated by cooperation, opportunities to help, and sincere appreciation. Prioritizes giving support, collaboration, and maintaining stability. Is described as calm, patient, predictable, deliberate, stable, and consistent. May be limited by being indecisive, overly accommodating, and a tendency to avoid change. May fear change, loss of stability, or offending others. Values loyalty, helping others, and security. The serviceman. The goals: persuade, personal accomplishments, group acceptance, power through formal roles and positions of authority, maintenance of status quo and controlled environment. They'll need to expend more energy to quickly adapt to change or unclear expectations. To multitask. They need to expend more energy to promote themselves. They're not comfortable confronting others. When communicating with the S-style individuals, be personable, express your interest in them and what you expect from them. Take time to provide clarification. Be polite and avoid being confrontational, overly aggressive, or rude. You'll scare them away. You know? C. It's motivated by opportunities to gain knowledge, showing their expertise and quality work. Prioritizes ensuring accuracy, maintaining stability, and challenging assumptions. Is described as careful, cautious, systematic, diplomatic, accurate, and tactful. May be limited by being overly critical, overanalyzes, and isolating themselves. May fear criticism and being wrong. Values quality and accuracy. Goals: unique accomplishments, correctness, stability, predictable accomplishments, personal growth. Will need to expend more energy to let go of and delegate tasks, compromise for the good of the team, join in social events and celebrations, make quick decisions. When communicating with C-style individual, focus on the facts and details. Minimize pep talk or emotional language. Be patient, persistent, and diplomatic. Yep. What do you think?
Makes sense.
Who might this be that we know? Do you know them? So this stands for most like, least. So most like, this is a person who the results of a DISC test we call DISC. So if you hear DISC, that's what we're referring to, D-I-S-C. Most like, least like, average. Most like, D, least like. So he has 16 in the D. He's most like that. Least like this, he averages 14. He's high D. Influence, 6, 3, he averages a 3, an S a minus 10, and C minus 7, right? We're at the top side of the chart.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah, at least when I took that DISC test.